Nick.
I think I'll walk.
That's it? That's the last episode? That was just a bunch of cheap walk cycles! What a rip!
Hello everybody, Rainbow's right here, and today we're going to be reviewing Zootopia Plus. And honestly, I made a tweet online saying that there was going to be 3 outcomes. It was going to be 1, like, expected disappointment, and 2, anger, and 3, like, surprisingly entertaining. They all kind of meshed together after watching this, because there's some really good highs and some really bad lows. Like, my gosh. And yeah, and this show is just about as good as the movie. And if you guys didn't know, I don't really find the movie that to be all that great anyway. So yeah, it's both still are kind of mid in my opinion. So before I give my actual thoughts on the show, let me first talk about how I feel towards the movie, the Zootopia movie that came out in 2016. I honestly don't find it all that great. It's just kind of average. Like, even when I saw the movie in theaters, I remember walking out of the theater thinking that this movie was kind of boring, kind of average, not that great, it wasn't that special. But then when I started to get obsessed over Nick Wilde, it tricked me into thinking that the movie was great. And then after watching it again and again later on, I started to realize, like, yeah, this movie is not that amazing. And the only reason why I like it was for Nick Wilde. And the fact that he's barely in the show does not help at all. I'm not even kidding when I say that I enjoyed Sing, Angry Birds, and Ice Age Collision Course a lot more than I did with Zootopia. That's probably like my biggest hot take of all time. Those movies were just more enjoyable and arguably, debatably, maybe a little bit better than Zootopia. I don't know. I just didn't find the movie all that great. Nick is the only good thing about it. Also, Wild Hops is garbage, and if you ship it, you are fucking dumb. So yeah, those are my quick thoughts on the first movie. So going in with that mindset, you would probably figure that I wouldn't enjoy the show all that much. And again, it's like a mixed bag. I like it, hate it, and also think it's very disappointing. I will say my favorite episode is, surprisingly, I did not expect this to be my favorite episode. It's actually episode 2, The Real Rodents of Little Rodentia, because it was actually really fucking funny and really dramatic, like ironically dramatic. It was actually really funny. Though still I didn't love it all that much because I don't really care for the characters in the episode. It still was probably the funniest one. And the most interesting one is actually episode 4, The Godfather of the Bride, which is actually an origin story for Little Rodentia and also Mr. Big, and the fact that Mr. Big created Little Rodentia. I did not know that he had that much power. I thought he was just a mafia guy, but apparently he actually freaking created Little Rodentia, which was honestly kind of cool and kind of interesting, but it's about Mr. Big, so I don't love it all that much or care all that much. And I think to me that's its biggest fault. Like, it's interesting, but it revolves around characters that I don't necessarily care about. I don't care about Judy's parents. I don't really care about Mr. Big or her daughter. I don't care about Duke. I don't really care about any of the characters that are presented in this series, which is, I think, in my opinion, its biggest downfall. Because in my opinion, the most interesting characters were Nick and Judy, mostly Nick, and the fact that they're not even in the show that much is a big disappointment. Even in Baymax, Hero was still in every episode as a small role, but he still was there. And Baymax, you know, the main, like the center character of Big Hero 6 is in it and is the main character, and his name is in the fucking title, for crying out loud. Like, those both, two of the main characters of Big Hero 6 star in their own show, and in here it's not the case. They have nothing. And so yeah, and when Nick is the only interesting thing to me about Zootopia, the fact that he's barely in the show doesn't make the show work, in my opinion. Another annoying thing about this show is that we don't really progress after the events of the first movie. This show takes place in between bits of the movie. It doesn't take place before or after. Yeah, Mr. Big has the story that takes place before Zootopia, obviously, but it mostly just stays in the events of the movie, which kind of sucks, because I would have rather see what happens after the movie. I would have liked to see the events after the movie, like a progression of the story of the universe, but no, we still stay in the same place, which is really disappointing. And again, some of these stories are really interesting. I would have loved to see a musical episode. I would have loved to see a dance show type of episode. But the thing is, the characters in them are not that interesting. So it doesn't really make me care all about the episodes. They're still cool. Like, the musical episode was still really cool, really well animated. But again, I don't care about Duke, so I don't really care about the rest of the episode, and that goes along with the rest of the show. But there are dud episodes like the first one, Hop on Board, All About Judy's Parents, #1. I don't care for those characters, so I wasn't really excited for this episode anyway. Yeah, it had some funny stuff, but it overall was just the most pointless one at the entire series, though it did have that funny Naturalist Club cameo. But even but speaking of which, I much would have rather had a Naturalist Club episode than this. It would have been way more funnier. Also, where the fuck was Nangi in that? She did the downward dog and she's not doing it here. Where the fuck is she? It's so frustrating. But with even the episodes being not that interesting with the characters, it still is a really, really funny show. Like, there's some shocking jokes that I'm surprised they even did, like this one. There are a lot of like shocking jokes like that, and it's honestly really, really funny. Also, there was only one character that I like and found interesting, and that's Francine. She had like a small cameo in the movie, but now she has like lines, and she's now like my 4th favorite Zootopia character. I don't know. I just love elephants, and she's the cutest elephant. So yeah, at least I have a new favorite Zootopia character in the show. And yes, it still fucking sucks that Nick is barely in the show, even though he is in the fucking poster. Yeah, he's small, but at least it kind of showed that he was going to play a little role in this series, like Hero in the Baymax show. And I would have been fine with that. I would have been fine if he had a little role in the show. I would have been fine with that. But no, he has nothing to do in this fucking series. He only has 2 seconds. 2 seconds of new animation, and that's it. The rest is just reused dialogue and reused clips from the movie, and it's fucking pathetic. He had more new screen time in Ralph Breaks the Internet than in the Zootopia series, and that's fucking embarrassing. So yeah, I kind of have a mixed bag of feelings for this show, but overall, I just found the series to be a little bit disappointing. Yeah, there was some cool stuff, cool lore, and a lot of funny moments, but overall, it still wasn't that great of a show. It was still average. I still think Cars and the Baymax show are a way better show than this, and I don't want to say that the show was bad. It was just underwhelming and just disappointing. That's all I can really say about it. But if you guys enjoyed it, that's great. And I hope the show does kind of receive well, even though I don't like it. I just hope that it'll open the door for Disney to do more stuff with Zootopia, because more excuse to have more Nick stuff. But anyway, I would like a sequel that, will improve on its world. But because I do want to see Zootopia improve, and I love Nick, so I kind of want to, see more of him as well. But I do want to see Zootopia improve, so I hope the show does do well, so Disney will do more stuff with it and do more better stuff with it. But overall, that's just my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Wild Hops is fucking garbage.